Hello, this video is for Professor Smalley's Math 2413 winter mini course starting in December of 2020 and ending in early January 2021. This video is basically a guide to help walk you through the course, to help you figure out where everything is and what you need to do and that sort of thing. So let's get going here. There's you can get to the D2L via My Lone Star if you want to. You can also come over here and you see this one's address d2l.lonestar.edu brings you to this. I believe the secure login takes you to also takes you to My Lone Star, but if you go the bottom one, that one will take you to just straight to D2L without the My Lone Star stuff. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to log in that way, since I don't really need to see anything in D2L. Oh, I guess I was logged in a few minutes ago. So I thought it was going to ask for my name and password, but I guess you should expect that, obviously. So let me find. Obviously, you don't have all these different courses for your association here, but let's see. All right, these are all my courses, so that's going to be your course. And let's see what's going on up here. Now, the main thing for you is content. We're going to go through that folder. The grades are important, but there's not much I need to show you there. That's just where your grades will be stored. There's nothing you have to do there, but when you submit an assignment, it will be stored into the grade book. And then course activities, quizzes. That's for both quizzes and exams. That's going to be important. Nothing else in there is really important. But course content's obviously very important because that contains all of our material. So let's kind of go through this a little bit, and we're going to go through the video. The syllabus. I just saw the word video there, so right there, course intro video. That's where this will be posted. Let's kind of go through the syllabus. This will stay posted there the whole time. I'm not going to read everything verbatim here. You certainly can email me if you have any questions. And any files that you want to keep and download for yourself here, which I'm going to do that right now, so I'm not limited by this screen size. So I'm just going to download it down here. Then there's a full PDF file, and open this up. Okay, like I said, I won't read everything here. Everything okay, looks okay here. Not going to worry about reading all this stuff. These are things you're going to learn. They don't mean much to you right now. So we'll just kind of skip this. Okay. Well, I guess there's normally, we're being in COVID situation right now. We're going to have the exams are going to be unproctored, but when I go back to proctoring, then I will apply these rules about the calculators. But I guess for now I can't stop anyone using an Inspire CAS, but I will again in the future whenever, like I said, we go back to having proctored testing at the campuses available. So even though that's in there, I just left that in there because it'll be, applicable for the future. Now, this is the official textbook, but I'm going to show you another option coming up here when I get back to the course content. So we'll hold off on that, and I'll show you. But theoretically, any book can be used because my specific assignments that I've been giving you are all in D2L. They are not book dependent. So it's not like you would have to have the book because I'm asking you to do, okay, problems 12 through 25, whatever in this section. Then obviously you need to be able to see what those problems were. So that's not going to be the case here. They're going to be D2L files, and everybody will see the problems no matter what book they are using. Okay, guidelines and policies, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, a lot of this is not relevant, but official day of record is 12/16/20. So I have to check before the official day of record, and if no one has participated in the course, I'm supposed to submit a request to drop that student. And frankly, in a 4-week course, if you have not logged into this by the fourth day, you probably should be gone anyway. But excuse me, it's a little different in a longer semester because the day of record would usually be about the third week, second or third week, but it's the fourth day here. And here's the withdrawal policy. If you wanted to get withdrawal from the course, it'll be 1 January 5. All right, so skip that. Okay, read all this stuff. Department chair, we have a dean here. All right, how do we get a grade? That's important stuff. So I'll slow down and talk about that carefully. Now you're going to have these. We'll talk about what these quizzes are here in a little bit. But there's 10 of them, and the lowest 4 of them will be dropped. So automatically, your best 6 are going to be the ones that count. And then I'm going to. Well, D2L is going to average the best 6 of those, and that's going to count as what we call the quiz average. So when you take the 3 exams combined with the quiz average, so you have exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, and the quiz average, the lowest of those 4 will be dropped. So when someone, if they ask me, email me and say, is the lowest exam going to be dropped? I make sure I explain this very carefully that, that means your quiz average then would have to count. In other words, you can't ignore, somebody, if you could not do the quizzes if you feel, I'm not suggesting that, of course, but someone really super confident in their ability and thinks they're going to do well on every exam could theoretically not do the quizzes. But for most people, the quiz average is going to help you. Every once in a while, I'll get someone that has a quiz average that's a little bit lower than than the exams. But a lot of times, in that case, it's because they've done so well on the exams. Like, for example, that's usually somebody that's making an A anyway. Like, let's say their exam scores were like 100, 95 and 100, and their quiz average was 94, or something like that. Then the quiz average would be the one that was dropped. But for a high percentage of people, 95% plus, you're going to want that quiz average to count. So that's very important because, like I say, it will help offset one poor exam grade. So you can ask me about that if you're not sure. So that's why it's that's why I label those as four grades with the lowest of those being dropped. So it's not just a matter of saying, I'm dropping the lowest exam. I'm dropping the lowest of those 4. And that's 25% each for 75%. And then the final exam is mandatory. It's not one of the drop scores, and it's 25%. So there's your 100%. So there's how you'll get a grade in this course. Okay, there's your standard letter grade stuff. I might just let you kind of read through this. And I don't think I need to sing it. Let me just go through it. Because quizzes, I'm about to go back to D2L and explain the quizzes anyway, so there's no point. But you can, I would suggest that you read this. And here's telling you the first 3 exams are 20 questions, and the final will be 30. COVID-19, we will not be having proctored exams. Always watch for any announcements that I make in D2L. Obviously, in a class like this, you should be checking D2L quite regularly, like every day, for either announcements or just to be working on the course. Online meetings, I think that I'll come up with something like when we get near an exam or something, I'll make myself available to a certain time slot, usually the evening before. And that gives you the opportunity to, I'll see how my schedule looks as far as other things going on, but I'll come up with something to where it's just a chance for you to ask me questions before the exam. And you can always email me stuff. I'll obviously be answering those, but if you wanted to talk to me during like one of these little Zoom things, we'll keep that posted. So just watch for the announcements in D2L regarding those. All right. So that's basically, okay, this is a bunch of other stuff here. So policies and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Here's our COVID thing here. So hopefully that won't apply to you. I had COVID not too long ago, from about the middle of November and right through about Thanksgiving weekend. It was not pleasant, but I survived and didn't have to go to the hospital, so that was good. Just felt like crud for a couple of weeks. Anyway, that's enough about my story. So, all right, so we'll just get out of the syllabus. Like I said, that's going to be sitting there, and if anything's not clear, that's what sending me messages is for, so that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to spend a lot of time in this video going through that. So now let me go through, because remember, I'll look through these folders. It's not going to hurt you to look at these. Just see what some of the stuff won't apply, like testing center. Oh, it looks like I may have that one where you can't. I have it hidden anyway because it's irrelevant. But yeah, it never hurts to look around. You're not going to hurt anything. You can't change or edit anything. Now, I have reviews for each of the exam, and I have reviews for the final. I don't do this for the other exams, but for the final, I actually provide this list, which shows you without numbers and equations and stuff. It just shows you the problem types. It just tells you the questions that are going to be asked on the final and what section they're coming from in a book I'm about to show you, not from the official book. But anyway, yeah. So that's you want to look for that. Like in long semester, people forget about that. I try to remind them, and sometimes I forget, but yeah, they forget this stuff's there. But I think being a 4-week class, you probably will remember this kind of stuff's here a lot quicker. Now I'm going to show you this myself, but here's how to. It shows you how to enter your quizzes into D2L. So if you don't want to go back and look this up in the video, you can try looking at that file. And this shows you how to review your quiz and exam submissions, and I'm going to show you that here in a minute too. So, and this is just some trig formula sheet. I'll talk about this homework list here in a minute. Calc Chat for Larson book. If you're using Calc Chat, is a website that shows you the worked out solutions to odd homework problems. Now, it might not show you every step, so obviously you can ask me if you have any help there. That's just this. Here's some other stuff. Now, this is very important right down here. I mentioned, when I was going through the syllabus about, I listed the correct textbook. You can use a different textbook if you want, or you can use this. This is a PDF file of an old textbook, 2 or 3 editions ago, but there's nothing wrong with it. Calculus hasn't changed since these editions have come out, so you can either download it or look up. It takes a while to load because there's a lot of pages or whatever, but so you can use this PDF book if you would like as your reference. In fact, I'm not going to worry about opening this, but you can open it up and look at it, and it's kind of a large file. You can download it if you want to, obviously, but it's a 9th edition calculus textbook. And in fact, I'll go back over here to this folder, so that's very important to remember that. And then that's actually, this homework list I have here is just suggested practice problems. So they're not mandatory, but they do go with that, textbook that I just showed you, the PDF file, the textbook. They do go along with that. But you don't have to do them. Let me bring those up and just kind of show you that file. It's strictly optional practice. And, you're going to be pretty busy here in 4 weeks, so it'd be hard to be expected to do all of those, because the important thing is you got to get these quizzes done, and I'll talk about that here in a minute, but because those are, for a grade. So, but you do see right here, and you'll see when I go back over to course content, it shows you the sections that are going to be on each exam. So you know exactly what's going to be covered. No mystery. And my notes are organized that way too. So no surprises, no weird stuff. I'm usually I've got this kind of pretty well structured, I think. I don't, there's always could be room for improvement, but it's not just a bunch of hosh-posh stuff all over the place. So lecture notes, let's come over and take a look at this. Lecture notes. And you see they are organized by exam. There's exam 1. So like I said, there's no mystery on what's going to be on each test. And then I guess if you keep, oh yeah, there's exam 1, there's exam 2. I just put some old pre-cal notes in there. I don't know if you probably didn't necessarily need any of that for anything, but they're there, you know, and you can download and keep them, whatever. And same thing with any of these other notes. You can download and keep them for future reference if you'd like. As far as I'm concerned, it's you know, all yours too here. So you can download the PDFs, keep them. So there's your notes and exam reviews. Now here, let's look at, I have these separated by PDF files. And they're grouped. So notice what I have here is I have the sample problems for exam 1. Now keep in mind these sample problems, I think there's a lot of them will probably be around 60 problems. But as I mentioned earlier, it was on the syllabus there on that near the end, you know, when I had the welcome to the course stuff. There's only 20 questions on each of the 3 regular exams and then 30 on the finals. So you don't have to panic that the exams are as long as these sample problems. So anyway, let's click on one of these real quick, open it up and just show you. So this just shows you the problems. Just out of curiosity, we'll see how many this one has. Well, like I said, these are not, you know, these are practice problems. I'm not collecting from grade. You do as many or as few as you want, you know. And then there's the answers down there. So there's 60 on this one, so obviously, as much as those you can practice, the better. But like I said, you're not being graded on any of those. And I realize time is an issue, of course. Now, also, right below that, and obviously, you know, to learn better, it's better if you can practice and try to figure things out instead of just immediately going to my worked out solutions. But I do have worked out solutions. That one's not showing too much, but that's so in addition to a lot of these don't have a lot of work, but there we go. You see, now you can see stuff. So yeah, so they're just showing how I solved them. Okay. So you kind of have that to fall back on if you're stuck on something. So each test has, so it has for each exam, you have those sample, you have the solutions for the sample. Now the exam reviews for these videos. Why is it not? Why is it not? Oh, okay, it was just slow. Okay, it was just slow getting there. Some of these are broken down into sections because I remember when I made these videos, I was having trouble with this software that I was using kind of crashing on me. So nothing more annoying than to record about 50 problems and have it crash. So I just did a few at a time, you know, that way, so it wouldn't be so tragic for me if it crashed. But anyway, but yeah, like for this first one, so what this video solutions is, you know, as I just showed you my written solutions, it's just me verbally explaining those written solutions. So in other words, I have it written out, but you know, so you might not need to watch it for every problem. Obviously, I wouldn't think you would. But if there's one of them that's, you know, even though you see my written solution and you're still not sure, you can, you know, pull up the video and fast forward it to that particular problem and then hear me explain it, and then you might pick up something you were missing, you know, from just the written part itself, so that you have these are resources. Now down here I have lecture videos. The lecture videos go along with those notes. I showed you the lecture notes, so it's just me basically verbally. I'm not writing them out, because it would take it this way these videos are shorter. Maybe it's better if I write it out. I don't know. I don't want to get it. It's too late now. But it's kind of like follow the bouncing ball. You know, I kind of point at what I'm talking about in the notes. But it's me trying to explain in detail what's going on with those notes. So I'd highly recommend, watching those. Like I said, that keeps the length of them down that way too, to where they're generally not more than about 30 minutes, unless one section is kind of particularly long or something or another. Makes them shorter that way if I was actually writing it out. Okay, so we have lecture videos, and I just have some Cal 2 and Cal 3 stuff. Like people had asked me in the past, that they were going to be, moving on somewhere else, and they liked my notes, they wanted to have the notes or whatever. So obviously you can go in there and, like I said, download them as PDF files and keep anything that you want. Anything, that's fine with me. Now, quizzes. Let's see how we do that. Okay, now these are called quizzes, which they're more like homework sets. I mean, they're not quizzes in the sense of quizzes that you take in real time, like the exams or something or another. The exams, you're going to be taking them in the real time. These are quizzes like homework sets that you're going to do them in advance and then submit the answer. So that's better for you. You should obviously do better that way because you get to work them in advance. But right here, what you have is the PDF files. So here's what you do. Here's quiz 1. It's telling you what sections it represents and what exam it's from. There are 10 problems. You work these out to the best of your ability. Come up with 10 answers. Then I'm about to show you now how you'll submit your answers. Now these, same thing with exams too. When you go into D2L, this is not, if you've ever worked with something like My Math Lab homework or something like that. This is not like that where okay, I'll go in and submit a few, go back and submit a few later. No, you got to submit them all at once, and of course then before the deadline. Remember, I'm dropping 4 quizzes, so if you miss one or you have some that's miss one or do really poorly, it's okay. In other words, not the end of the world if you miss a quiz. But so you do these, and then you come up with your answers, and said, okay, I'm ready to submit these. What do I do now? Let's come over here to course activities, quizzes. This is where the quizzes will be, and this will be the exams. Here are your due dates. And they should also be in the D2L calendar. I'll go back and take a look at that too, because I believe I should have checked the box for every one of those to make it display to the calendar. Let's see what we have here. Now, obviously, things are moving fast here in these 4 weeks. So you got to really stay on top of things. Now, I gave you a few days for this quiz 1. That's 4 days from today. It's 4th day of class will be this. Wait, the 3rd. Let's see. Let me look at the calendar here. Yeah, the 17th. That'll be Thursday. But if you can work ahead, that would be much better because then that would help you proceed. But since everything was new and you got to watch the video and blah blah, I was trying to give you a little extra time. But I would not wait. I would try to work a little bit in advance if you could, because that way you see the frequency of the due dates is going to start coming up a little quicker, after that, every couple days. In fact, before I show you how to enter the quiz, let me kind of go through this calendar real quick. See a couple days, and you're going to reach a point where they're going to be like quizzes are going to be 1 day apart there toward the end. So once again, working ahead if you can. Now, we do have official holidays here of Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And all that, obviously, in a class like this, if doesn't mean you can't do some work on those days. That just means I made sure to make nothing due on those days. But you see, there's a quiz coming up the day after Christmas, and there's one coming up the day after New Year's. So I just, in fairness, that just means there's no assignments due on those days. But it's kind of, hard to take an entire day off from this class. But, obviously, if you're celebrating, if you celebrate Christmas and if you want to, celebrate with your family, whatever, take the day off. That's where it gives you motivation to kind of work ahead a little bit too, so. But yeah, if you can. But obviously I can't expect you to get way ahead in a 4-week class. But, getting a day ahead, 2 days is real far ahead. So you see it pop it up, then we got exam 1 right here. Let's do it's 23rd. Couple more quizzes 3 days later, so maybe you could get a little jump on that one. And then 2 days later, then 2 days after that will be the next exam. Now you've got a 3-day gap here, so once again, if you can work ahead here, you've got a 3-day gap before the next quiz is due after you take that exam. The 31st, 1st, and then the 2nd. So if you could get a day ahead, that means you could space things out a little bit. But look at these due dates. 4 days in a row. Then you have a day break to kind of study and, to prepare for exam 3. And then there'll be another quiz. Now, I believe quiz 10 is just going to be, it's a review of stuff that you'd already learned. It's not new material, which is good. But it's due the next day. And then 2 days later is the final. Now, I want you to notice something very, very carefully here. Obviously, you can go back and check this. You don't have to remember it, but except for one, notice all these, I kept this consistent, so you can't come back to me, I didn't know, I thought it was going to be due at this time. I've had people try to pull that on me before or whatever, when they're all due exactly at 11 p.m. Now, what that means is you have to, like for the quizzes, you have to, I think I just give you like 60 minutes, but all you're doing is just entering your answers. Your exams, you'll be given at least 3 hours. I'll let you know more about that in an announcement in D2L. But obviously you've got a while before you take an exam, but at least 3 hours, maybe a little longer, probably for the final, a little longer. But you just have to open it up before that time period. That's not when you have to finish. So let's say you're taking exam 1, and you started it, maybe you're kind of a night owl like me, and you started at 10 p.m., you'll get, let's say it's 3 hours, I'm just saying whatever the time limit is, you'll get the full 3 hours. You'll have to 1 a.m., and then it's going to cut you off. So these are deadlines that you must open it up by, not that you have to finish by. Now, they're all 11 p.m., and I'll make sure I remind you of this last one. I'm doing something a little different this term than I normally do. Normally, I make the final exam due on the 11 p.m. on the Saturday night of the 4th week. I'm going to give you an extra day this term. However, I'm not going to. So this would have been normally January 9th at 11 p.m. But now I got to have you start this one by no later than 6, because that way, let's say if it ends by about 10. That makes it where I can get the grades done and submit it even that particular evening. I can get the grades done. So it's giving you a little more time to take the test, but I can't go, but I have to cut it off a little earlier in the day or whatever. So I'll try to, make sure I make an announcement. I'll try to remember my best to remind you that, okay, this one's the only one that's not 11 p.m. You have to start it by no later than 6. And then that way that works out well enough. That gives you as much time as possible in the class and still allows me to get my grades done in time. So that's why. But everything else before that is always 11 p.m. So no tricks anywhere else. So, but like I said, I wasn't trying to trick you on that last one. I'm actually doing you a favor. Now, quizzes. I'll make an announcement too. What I'll probably do is associate... I'll probably give a password for the exams, and I'll tell you what the passwords are, obviously. That's just so someone can't really open it up by mistake and go, I accidentally opened the exam. I mean, if you have to type in the password, then obviously you had to make a little bit of effort so you could realize that, you were ready to do it or not ready to do it or whatever. But and that announcement will be in D2L, and it'll sit there the entire term. Now, I had people this weekend taking, my long semester classes, and I don't know what the password is for the final. And because I'd sent it out like early in the semester, so obviously that was a while back, but that's why it's always good to pay attention to the announcements. I mean, you're more likely to remember to search for it. Heck, if you need to, when you see the announcement, you can write it down somewhere that's convenient for you, in your study desk or something, if that helps, But they're going to be real simple passwords like exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, and final exam. So anyway, let's look at a quiz. I probably won't open it up an exam, but you'll open it up and you'll start it and go. So let's quiz. The exam, you're not going to have the questions in advance like the quiz. So quiz, it's going to be a little bit different. Yours isn't going to look like this, but you click on the blue quiz. Oh, I got to go back here because it's looking at me as I got to get in student view here, because as an instructor, it's thinking I'm going to edit it, so okay. Look at it like a student would look at it. Okay. I'm going to click on this. And like I say, you already have your answers right in front of you here. Okay. And, okay, I have an hour. An hour for something that will probably take you 5 minutes. So that's plenty of time. But one thing is be careful that sometimes, I don't do this on purpose, but it's not, the numbers won't change. The answers will all be the same. But it sometimes scrambles the answer. So be careful. Don't assume. Let's say, you work a problem and the right answer is 2.5. And let's say that on the PDF file, it was letter choice A was 2.5. Well, when you go to the actual quiz, 2.5 might be letter choice C. But if you know if 2.5 is right, pick the 2.5. Don't go by what letter it was on the PDF. So you'll click on, so when you're ready to submit them all, you'll start quiz. And you'll go through here and check this out. You'll just bubble all these. And I'm going to go through here. And I'm just going to randomly bubble D for every one of these. Obviously. And being the instructor, I can just change my grade if I don't like it. All right, so I should save each one. So I just want to show. I'm just doing this to show you the process. Enter, enter, submit. Submit. See, it's going to give you another chance to change. Go back to the question. Submit. And let me just kind of scroll down. You won't be able to see these immediately, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. I made a 10. I got one of them right. Not good, obviously, right? Let me check the deadline on this one. I may have to. But anyway, the way I have these set, so let me go back to instructor mode here, is I know sometimes people get, finished early and they're going to want to see, but I want everybody, that way so somebody doesn't, obviously if you take it and you make 100, then you pretty much have the answer key, but I don't want to just give it away until everybody's done with it. So, viewing a student, I guess I can log out of this and I'll change it back to professor. No, it logged me out. I must have missed. Okay, now it's back as in my mode here. Sorry about that. I thought it meant log out as student mode. But the quizzes are designed to be viewable 1 hour after that deadline, no matter when you submit it. Oh yeah, I did mess that one up. Ooh, I thought I changed all of them. Let's see, that was December 17th. So this should actually be, oh, I just picked the wrong month. It should be December 18th. Yeah, that means I should not have seen that result for those quizzes. I'll just change that. When I submitted that one, it should not have shown. It showed me the answers because it was backdated here or whatever. So now it won't show you. So that means even if you submit it that day or earlier, let's say it's due at 11 p.m., you submit it at 3 p.m. that afternoon, it'll show you the grade. You might make a 90 or something. You're dying to know which one you miss. But, you don't have to stay up till midnight if you don't want to. But I'm just saying it won't be available till midnight on the 18th. So that's when you can actually look at it and see which ones. Now, let me show you real quick, and we're just about done here. Sometimes I know these videos get a little long. I apologize, but I'm trying to be as thorough as possible here to show you everything. Now, to view the quiz, like I said, it's still it's got to be an hour after the deadline. It seems logical that you would just go back and click on this quiz thing again. That seems right, but it's not right. That's only what you do to submit the quiz. To actually view it, and that's one of the PDF files that I have in that syllabus folder. Remember I had all those files where it showed you the one that had that book, and there was one that showed, I believe, how to review quiz submissions. So you can always look at that PDF file if you forget. But once you do this correctly once, you won't have any problem. You click the drop-down arrow. Now, you're not going to see it here. I would probably see it if I was back in student mode. But it's going to say submission. Either submission or view submission. Let me see. And let me see if I can not mess this up this time and not log out. You click the drop-down arrow. There we go. That's what you'll see. Submission, view submission, view attempt, or something like that. View, you'll click on attempt. So you don't click on the blue quiz itself. That's only for entering the answers. It has to be this drop-down arrow next to it that says submissions, and then attempt, and that's how you see your quiz. Now on the exams, they won't necessarily be ready at midnight. I'll probably do them the next day because I just want to make sure that there weren't any technical issues or anything like that. So I'll, just remind me if I forget, just say, hey, can you make the exam? And I'll go in there and manually make it viewable. Then I'll announce that it's viewable or whatever. So those won't pop up 1 hour afterwards automatically, but the quizzes will. All right. Oh, it's okay. There's what I messed up. I'm supposed to X this, not the log out. Okay. That takes me back to instructor mode. So let me just double check the content. I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. And obviously, drop me a message if you have any questions or whatever. But I wanted to show you that quiz entry process there. So, and then, like I said, the exam, obviously the difference of the exam is you'll click on the exam, but when you're ready to take it, but you don't have the questions in advance, obviously. So, and just everything before the deadline, you'll get your full time. So I think I think that covers everything. So like I said, send me any notes, and I think usually the class goes pretty well in this 4-week term, So it's kind of like, it's busy, it's a lot, but sometimes people do better because they're kind of only focused on one thing, one course for the entire time. So I hope that everyone does a tremendous job here, and I look forward to this 4-week term. Thank you.